Thank you, everyone, and welcome to what we've always referred to as sunny LA, my hometown of the city of Lackawanna, as we are here for a very important ribbon cutting, which helps to kick off a lot of the work that has been done these last few years here at what is now the Renaissance Commerce Park. For those of you who grew up in Lackawanna or know this area well, you really can't imagine what you're seeing going on after decades and decades of nothing happening here. And there were a lot of folks that were involved in this project alone, and others that have been involved since we attempted to take back what was the former Bethlehem Steel site and put it into productive economic use. And there's truthfully so many that I don't want to sit here and start naming each and every one of them. But I do want to give a shout out to someone who's played a key role in my administration in making this happen, is Deputy County Executive Maria White and her team, who've worked very hard to take, thank you, to take what was once vacant land and for nearly 100 years was a former steelmaking facility and turn it into what we see here today. And why we're here today is to officially cut the ribbon for TMP Technologies building, which basically is where they make the product that a lot of us use, the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. And this is their manufacturing facility as well as where their transportation and delivery comes from. Before I introduce Bob Laughlin, the president of TMP Technologies, I do want to note we wanted to invest in this site because we knew the value of it, but sometimes we don't even know the value of it until we actually had parties that were interested in the site. And what TMP did was had an interest in the site because they were getting pressure from their primary party that they deal with, Procter & Gamble, to move their facilities out of New York State and to be closer to Procter & Gamble's facilities elsewhere in the state of Ohio. And if we had not had this land available, there's a very good chance we would not be having this ribbon cutting here today, and they may have been doing a ribbon cutting somewhere else. But I want to thank Bob and his team for investing in our community, for saying this is the community that we are from, and they had facilities and still have facilities elsewhere in Erie County, but for saying and standing up to the pressure of, truthfully, Procter & Gamble, where they wanted it elsewhere. He's not going to admit that because he doesn't want to alienate his client. but on behalf of the people of Erie County, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sticking to your guns and working with us to find a way to build this facility here so that not only you could stay here, but you could grow and many more jobs would be created in the long run. So on behalf of the people of Erie County and my partners in the Erie County Industrial Development Agency, and you'll hear from John Capolino from the IDA soon, as well as my partners in the city of Lackawanna, and you'll hear from our mayor, as to why this project is such an important one, because it sets a precedent of what we can do on this site that a lot of people believed we couldn't do. So to Bob and his team from TMP, thank you for your investment in this community, an investment that I know will lead to bigger and better times for TMP and TRS as you go forward. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to the microphone.
Great.
Mr. Laughlin, Bob Laughlin.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. It's nice. We had such a nice turnout. This is great. Thank you for coming. Let me start by, we wanted to have Jeff Dorn here today. Jeff Dorn is our previous owner and CEO, who did a lot for the company. He set the company on a nice, successful path, a path that we're still on today. Unfortunately, Jeff could not make it today because he had health issues, but we did want to wish Jeff all the best, a quick recovery, and back to getting back to his health. And we did want to thank him for what he did for our company when under his leadership. So thank you, Jeff, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Let me start out this by saying, and I think I speak for everybody at TRS when I say we are thrilled to be in our new building. This is a great location. We have, to serve our two markets, the U.S. and Canada, throughway access, the Peace Bridge is here, very convenient for our employees. Now, Erie County under Mark Poloncarz committed to resurrecting this old industrial site by initially purchasing and remediating 150 acres. phase one. We then purchased 26 acres from Erie County that gave us the necessary footprint to configure our building exactly as we needed it. And we also allowed us to have additional land for possible future expansion if necessary. Now, a lot of us from TRS, we're from Buffalo, born and raised here. So we are excited and we're proud of the part that our company played in the resurrection of this old abandoned industrial site into the new Renaissance Commerce Park. For most of my life, my adult life, this land has been vacant. To see it finally put to productive use, it's exciting. Now, in terms of what this means to our company, this expansion will allow us to continue our growth. It allowed us to consolidate our 4 outside storage facilities and our manufacturing plant, now all under one roof. It allowed us to add 3 new production lines. It allowed us to add between 50 and 75 new employees. And probably most importantly, it allowed us to meet the growing needs of our customers. It sends a message to our customers that we are committed to their needs, to their growth plans. So basically, this expansion will secure our future in Buffalo for the foreseeable future. I would like to take a few minutes and thank the people that actually built the building. When you take on a project like this, you want a good team. I really think we had the best. Starting with our general contractor, Colbeck's Construction, under the Kolbecki brothers and Tom Barrett. Just great people to work with, very talented, as was our electrical contractor, CVM Electric, Carlo Madonia, another talented company. And when you take on a project like this, you want to make sure you have a good environmental firm. And I think we had the best with Benchmark Environmental under Tom Forbes, just a lot of knowledge in that company. And then for our security needs, we used the firm CompuFlex under the leadership of Rashid Chaib, another great company to work with. And then we worked with a lot of different subcontractors. It was just a pleasure working with such a talented group of individuals and companies. At this point, I'd also like to recognize internally some of our departments and people. Let me start off with our engineering department under Matt Mentali. Just a lot of smart people on that group. And then I want to thank and recognize our entire staff of mechanics, who's the reason why the move went from the old facility to this facility went as smoothly as it did. Thank you all the mechanics. And then of course the engineers here at TRS. But I want a special thanks to Luke Stewart, who spearheaded this entire move, this entire project on behalf of our company. And also he was a liaison between all the outside contractors and our company. Thank you, Luke, great job. And then I do want to thank all the employees of TRS who each did their part in allowing the company to achieve the success we have over the many years. And I want a special thanks to Bob Schultz, who does a terrific job running this entire operation. Also, Jim Pazanchek, who I work very closely with. Well, everybody works very closely with Jim because he's involved in so many aspects throughout the entire organization. Thank you, Jim. And I also want to thank and recognize my partner, Kirk Dorn, who I've had the pleasure to work with for 16 years. And Kirk, I don't think either of us envisioned this type of expansion way back when. But thank you, Kirk. Mark was kind of afraid to name everybody who ever worked on this building. Sorry, Mark. No, I do. We work with a lot of different government agencies, beginning with the ECIDA, who actually introduced us to this site. They convinced us, strong-armed us, no, they convinced us that this was this was the solution to our expansion dilemma, and we had an expansion dilemma. So I want to thank John Capolino and Maria White, thank you, and their staff. We worked very closely with them. We worked with New York State. We worked with Kathy Hochul before she was a mayor. We worked with Empire State Development. We worked with the New York State Department of Labor. There we worked with Marvella Garcia as well as Deb Kiowski. And our liaison there, Lynn Kuchevich, spent a lot of time with them and worked very closely with them. So thank you, Lynn, wherever you are. And then we worked with the we worked with the city of Lackawanna. We worked with initially with Rich Stanton, very helpful, and then later with the new mayor, Annette Iafola. Thank you. And then we also worked with and got support from National Grid. Thank you, Mary Grace Welch and Ken Kajawa. We worked with and got support from National Fuel Gas. Thank you, Eric Solomon and Armand Yao, as well as Ed Hornig, Jeff Kowalski. Thank you very much. And then I do want to thank our real estate attorney, Rich DiGiacomo. He, besides being a terrific real estate attorney, he's just a really super guy. And he worked with us every step of the way. And then I do want to thank our tax accountant. He's a tax expert, but when you get a project like this, there are so many tax issues. We worked with Don Warren. Thank goodness, you need a Don Warren when you work on a project like this. So Don was very helpful. And then for our environmental attorneys, I want to mention John Kalaga, and then from Leader Consulting, Jeff Whitlinger, just two experts in all things environmental. Thank you, John and Jeff. And then, of course, Erie County, we worked closely with Mark Polenkars, Maria White, and their staff. And we wanted to thank you for that, but they were obviously the key in resurrecting this old, abandoned Bethlehem Steel site and resurrecting it into the new Renaissance Commerce Park. So that's it. I just wanted to thank everyone involved for your help, your support, and your guidance in making this a reality for our company. Thank you so much.
You did a good job of thanking everyone.
Yeah.
So Bobby did a really good job of thanking everyone.
There's another 50 or so.
Yeah, there's always some that you forget when you sit down and like, oh my Lord, I forgot that. But once again, they took a chance. They were really the first one with regards to this Renaissance Commerce Park, and you can see what's already happening. And trust me, there's a lot more good stuff on its way. So on behalf of this community, thank you. Thank you for investing in this site, and we're very pleased to all be here today. We would not be doing this work without the support that we received from the state of New York, especially early on. New York has been instrumental in supporting this project, and of course our current governor understands it better than anyone else, because first she grew up in Lackawanna and of course then lived in Hamburg and passed by this site almost every day during her tenure in many positions in government. And she understands why the state needed to invest in this site, and the state did invest in this site, not only with the brownfield tax credits that exist for a company like TRS to take advantage of, but also in additional funding that was provided by New York State so that we could acquire this land, remove a railroad that was up front, so that we then had an opportunity to invest in it and turn it into what it is today. And on behalf of our great governor, Kathy Hochul, I'd like to introduce her representative in all of Western New York, Joan Kesner, someone who's no stranger to government, as she served with our governor on the Hamburg Town Council a couple years ago. But as the director of the Western New York office for the governor, she's instrumental in many of the projects that are going on and being assisted by New York State. And on behalf of the people of Erie County, I just want to say to Joan, thank you for the work that New York State's doing, and please pass that on to the governor. I know she couldn't be here today, and she wanted to be here today, but she couldn't. But if we can't have the governor, we got the next best thing. Joan Kesner.
Thank you so much, County Executive. And I got to tell you, he is such a great partner to our office in every way. In most every project that we're working on and advancing, who's right on our right side is our County Executive, Mark Polenkars. And we are so lucky to have him. And rumor has it there's something special about Lackawanna that he likes. I'm not sure why, but his heart and soul is in this community, and we thank you for that. You know, as Mark mentioned, the governor grew up in Lackawanna and Hamburg and witnessed firsthand the glory days of Bethlehem Steel. A lot of her family worked in this plant, and then she saw the traumatic effects of its closing, and now this fantastic new chapter. Business is once again on the rise right here in Medicine Commerce Park. It's both impressive and inspiring to see the work that has been done thanks to a strong multi-government and private sector partnership. And as Tom mentioned, and thanks so many, this just didn't happen with a couple of people. This was truly a community and government effort that made it work. And success stories like this are more to come. The governor, of course, wants to congratulate TMP Technologies for playing an important role of bringing this site back to work. And Empire State has provided TMP with more than $1 million in incentives to encourage them to grow and to add new jobs. And as most of you know, TMP manufactures those magic erasers. And if only we could wipe the former Bethlehem Steel site clean so easily and redevelop it. But the matter of fact is, it took a lot of work to make this property shovel ready and to the day it is. I was sitting next to John Capolino in our former careers 30 years ago. We worked on a few projects that were in reference to how are we going to get Bethlehem Steel back to its glory. And, you know, he said to me, what took so long? And I said, money. Money. So, you know, the governor has invested $69 million in the rebuilding of the Bethlehem Steel plant. So you see the commitment that has taken place. And as I was sitting and writing some of these notes, I don't know if any of you know, but our regional director of DEC, who played a role in this particular project, just became from the interim to the permanent director here in Western New York. And his name is Chad Staniszewski. And Chad's mom was a mayor in the city of Lackawanna. I remember it well when this plant was starting to close and shut down. And I recall how devastating it was for her and her city to lose the tax incentive, or the tax revenue actually, from this plant. They were besides themselves. And you know, Chad's mom, God rest her soul, would be very, very pleased to see that this is back on the tax rolls, back of jobs happening, cars coming through, and there's a light there to let you turn in here because more and more traffic's going to come. But all this work is done because the governor knows how important it is to rebuild communities by putting industrial sites like Bethlehem to good use. So congratulations and welcome. And we're right there to help you in any way that we can. This is just the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. How many of you remember the old Ridge Dinette jingle? You're gonna wanna come to Lackawanna. They used to be at Ridge Dinette. Well, they're not in Lackawanna anymore, but there's a lot more businesses like TRS, TMP that are coming to Lackawanna, and as you can see, there's more on the way. And that building up front is just the first of two that is going to be built by Uniland Development. Why is this happening? Because of the work of so many, including our friends, my friends in the city of Lackawanna, who've worked on this project for many years. We have here Mayor Annette Iafallo, and I want to thank the mayor, and you're going to hear from her in just a few seconds, for her tremendous work through the years, including previously when she was council president. Former Mayor Jeff Szymanski couldn't be here today. He's working now as the Workforce Investment Board, so Jeff's making certain that there's people that you can hire for the workforce here by ensuring we have a strong workforce. We have the members of the council here, and I'll leave it up to Mayor to introduce them, but you got to come from Lackawanna to understand what this community is about. You have to understand what we went through as a community when Bethlehem Steel closed in the 80s and how it made it a tight-knit community that truthfully understood what it means to fight to get what it believes was its fair share. When the steel plant closed, it was like a nuclear bomb going off in the city of Lackawanna. That's not the case anymore because of the strong leadership that we have in the city and the work that we can do as a partnership to ensure that the glory days of this community are not the past, it's the future. That's why when we named this facility, we basically didn't want to just say steel. We wanted to talk about the renaissance of the city and the renaissance of this location, and that's why it became the Renaissance Commerce Park. And just like this Commerce Park is now going to be known for something other than steel making, and there's entire generations will never know that there was steel making here, the city of Lackawanna is facing a renaissance too, a renaissance that we can all be proud of, especially myself, who calls Lackawanna my hometown. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the council for your good work in making that happen. And thank you for working with us to ensure that we could turn this park into what it is today, because it took a lot of hard work and effort from the team in the city of Lackawanna. So thank you all. And with that, Mayor Annette Iafallo.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Lackawanna. Before we go any further, I do want to recognize our Lackawanna City Council, our Council President Fred Morano, First Ward Council Amira Muflahi, Second Ward Council Carl Anderson, Third Ward Dean Moretti, and Fourth Ward Kevin Surdike. I'm delighted to be here today on such a beautiful day to celebrate the grand opening of TMP's new production facility and Renaissance Commerce Park. On behalf of the city of Lackawanna, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to the 150 TMP employees now working here, led by you, Bob Laughlin, and Kirk Dorn, and Bob Schultz. It's a tremendous thrill to have Lackawanna, New York, known now as the place of Magic Eraser. Today's celebration is the first of many to come in the ongoing redevelopment of this historical industrial site, an effort made possible by strong public and private partnerships represented here today. The task of reactivating this long abandoned site is truly a Herculean effort, one requiring vision, commitment, resources, and dare I say, a large dose of courage. County Executive Mark Poloncarz boldly created a new vision for this site in 2012. In the 10 years since, the combined efforts of Erie County, the ECIDA, federal and state partners, and the city of Lackawanna are making what was once considered an impossible task a reality. Since I became mayor in 2020, my administration has worked cooperatively with our city council to position Lackawanna open for business in support of developing activities planned here at the Commerce Park and other areas in our city. This effort is highlighted by the difficult and in some circles unpopular decision to unify and lower the city tax rate in my first year in office. Bob Laughlin will recall when we had discussions regarding TMP's Lackawanna project, which began prior to 2020, and the city's business tax rate was a burdensome $42.10 per thousand. Today, the city tax rate for all Lackawanna properties is $16.75 per thousand. Since its inception, this competitive tax rate has helped advance over $100 million in new projects citywide, including this TMP facility we're celebrating today. And there is many more projects to come. We're grateful for the investment TMP has made in Lackawanna and in Erie County. The competition for where to locate your new facility was heavy, and we are honored for your incredible vote of confidence. We wish the TMP team much success in Lackawanna for many decades to come. Thank you.
These projects would not happen without a great team working on behalf of the economic arm of Erie County. And the true economic arm of Erie County is the Erie County Industrial Development Agency and its related subsidiary entities, including the Buffalo and Erie County Industrial Land Development Corporation. Try saying that 5 times fast. But that arm falls under the ECIDA. The ECIDA has always been very supportive of my ideas and visions for how we could rebuild this land. Not a lot of people always were supportive, but the ECIDA was. They understood the value and what could happen if we could actually turn this land around so that we could have a ribbon cutting like we are here today. And someone who's been there since I've been county executive has been John Capolino at the CIDA. John's been a great partner on behalf of us in county government in understanding why we needed to move forward, but his team as well has been there all the time to ensure that projects like this get off the ground and we can have a day like today. And trust me, as you often heard from the people that Bob thanked, it takes a lot of people because these projects are not always easy to get off the ground. So on behalf of the people of Erie County, I want to thank John and his team once again for all that they've done, not only on this project, but to ensure that you could see this once desolate wasteland where not too long ago it was known more for people dirt biking and someone occasionally trying to hunt, which was my father, but I told him he couldn't do it because there's always deer running through here, to now where it's becoming restored as a major portion of what is going to be the future of our economy. John, on behalf of people of Erie County, thank you, and please come up and say a few words.
So I don't know what being last, I guess, is a mixed blessing here. So I want to thank the county executive and good afternoon, everyone. As president and CEO of the ECIDA and the Industrial Land Development Corporation, I'm very proud to be a part of today's ribbon cutting ceremony. What a great day. As you heard from everybody, I'm standing up here as a representative of the agency and the team we have. There's members of the team here. And the one thing I can say about this project, and I'm getting older now, Joan and I were just talking about that, but this is truly the only project that I've worked on when you say to somebody, hey, we want to do X, the first thing they say is, how can we help? It's not, I can't do that. It's not, oh, geez, that could be difficult. It's how can we help? So I think as a community, this is a really impressive milestone that we're here today. I also wanted to congratulate Bob and Kirk and TMP Technologies for the first of what will be many ribbon cuttings that will be here today at Renaissance Commerce Park. I was reminiscing back on the conversations that Bob and Kirk and we had, and we came out to this site and we started to talk about, potentially him locating here, and we were saying, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm actually starting to believe this, because I'm telling Bob, oh, there's going to be a road here, we'll have water lines, we'll have a spot for you to go, but they had the faith in our team, and this really points to what a public-private partnership is really all about. We did our part, but really, this is what we want to see at the end of the day as an economic development person. We really need partners that are committed and willing to do the hard work and create the investment and opportunities and jobs for the citizens of our region. I also want to take an opportunity. I know we've thanked a lot of people, but I did want to thank the county executive and his team. As we've moved along the way, today's a great day of celebration, but there were moments, there were trials and tribulations along the way, and there's been a lot of great support from the full team. Folks from my staff, I see Beth and Grant, and I'm going to miss Andy, others, Robbie Ann, who's been here and working to support us, and Maria's team over at the county. I see Chris Pawinski, who retired, and he's back with us today. And also our friends and partners in New York State government. As Joan mentioned, I can't name them all, but Empire State Development and the DOT and DEC, great partners along the way. Again, the governor's office and the support we've received for financing and also just making this happen with us as a partner. I'd also like to thank, again, the mayor and the city of Lackawanna in your support. It's all the little things that have to happen that you don't realize when you're doing things like this. Like, somebody has to plow the road that we just built. Somebody has to do those things. So it requires all the partners, and the city has been a wonderful partner in working with us to make all this happen. And as the county executive and others have said, this is but the first ribbon cutting that we expect to have. You can see more progress going. As an economic development professional, I'm so pleased to have been able to be a part of this. And I really want to finally thank two groups, my board. It doesn't hurt that the entity that owns this land, the board chairman, happens to be sitting here. The county executive is our board chairman. So when I have a problem and I say, geez, we could use a little extra funding for X, it's great to have a supportive board, and obviously our board chairman has been that for this project. And a big thank you to our board as well at the ECIDA, who has helped us with funding commitments we go. I also wanted to point out all the levels of government that have supported the Federal Economic Development Administration, who their administrator was here a couple months ago to celebrate with us. I see Chris Fahey back there from the Congressman's office, who's been very supportive. And finally, it was very interesting when we started talking about, as the county executive said, how do we name this park? The citizens of Lackawanna who came out, gave us ideas, talked about, what they wanted to see, what the vision was here. There were some, emotional moments from what happened on this site and, some of the things and trials and tribulations that people went through. But the one thing that rang true, I think, from everybody was the citizens of Lackawanna who said, we want to see a renaissance. We want to see new opportunity to happen here at this site. So again, I'm so honored to represent the team and work with everybody, and thank everyone for the opportunity to speak, and congratulations, Bob.
Thank you, John.
I'd ask the others to come up, but especially Bob, and if anybody from the TRS team come up here, because we're officially going to cut the ribbon to open the facility, even though it's been open for a little. So get everybody you want out here. We got a whole bunch of scissors. Let's give you the big one.
Oh, jeez.
There.
I can share with. I'll share with the mayor.
Sure. All right, or you can share with me.
This guy's good.
There you go.
Thanks.
Your building.
Okay.
Come on, let's get up there.
All different.
We're going in together.
Hope you don't choose the last one.
I'll stab you, right?
Okay, we're gonna do it on a count.
I'm right here.
You right?
You only get an opportunity to do this once, so. On three. 1, 2, 3.
You want to go ahead?
I wanted to go ahead.
Yes, this is wonderful.
No, you want to go.
It's always the most dangerous part.
Want to stab?
Yes.
All right, you want to close out her?
Oh, great.